Yo guys, what's up? Axon back with another video, and today we're finally doing a tier list for all the elements. Now you might be wondering, Axon, isn't this a little bit early to rank Dendro now that it just barely came out and we only have 2 characters in the game right now? Yes. Is it too early to decide how good Dendro is and what its potential is? Yes. Will I regret making this video once the Dendro Archon comes out and Dendro might be even better than what I think it is right now? Yes. I know this is a premature, but who cares? I like doing these tier lists. I think it's very fun, and you guys seem to enjoy it because you guys like watching these videos, and you guys always give this a high like rating. So I decided to make another one of these. Obviously, this is for fun, and as you can see, I have a bit of a mustache. I have a little bit of a mustache. See, a bit of a mustache because, you know, I've just been grinding Sumeru because I just recently pulled Tagnari, or however you say his name, because, you know, I still don't know how to say his name. But I recently just pulled him. I barely got him because, you know, if you watch my last video, just a crazy luck on how I got him. But, you know, we got to get into this tier list. And disclaimers, I do not have the 4-star Dendro character. I only have the 5-star, so I'm kind of just only going off of the 5-star one and what I've seen of the 4-star from just videos and people's thoughts on it, right? But let's get into this. Starting off with Pyro, obviously you guys know I am very high on Pyro. Pyro is one of the best elements in the game. You guys heard me say this countless amount of times. It's obviously, in my opinion, one of the best elements when it comes to DPS. You got Xinglang, you got Diluc, you got Hu Tao, you got Toma, Bennett, one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion, the best. Obviously, this is just my opinion, so if you guys are gonna put a mean comment down below, just know this is my opinion. There's no reason to hate. But, you know, before I even get into this, make sure you guys let me know what you guys think the best element in the game is and what is the worst. But for me, starting off, Pyro, obviously one of the best elements of the game. I'm gonna put it S tier right now. I don't know if it deserves to be S+. Obviously, it is a contender, but I kind of only want to put one element in a S+, so we can, like, differentiate what is the best element in the game and what is the worst element in the game. So I only have one element in SC tier and one element in S+ tier. That's how it kind of goes. And if I might delete a tier just because, like, we only have a little bit amount of a tier, so I don't think there is a gap between these that much. Obviously, Cryo might be the best element in the game. In my opinion, right now, it's kind of suffering from the Spiral Abyss. Cryo is not doing that good in Spiral Abyss right now. But obviously, once it changes, Cryo might be the best element again in the game. It obviously has some of the best characters like Ayaka, Rosaria. Is that it? Is it just Ganyu? Now that I'm thinking about it, they don't really have that many good characters. Ayaka and Ganyu are kind of like the standouts, and they're like noticeably one of the best characters in the game. Like, those are 2 top 10 characters in my opinion, so that's very high. But I think Pyro might be a bit better. So I'm just gonna right now put Cryo in the S tier. I'll decide which a person or element, I mean, goes in S+ tier. So next up, Anemo. Now Anemo, I have mixed feelings about, because I can't think of a character in the game who has the potential to be an Anemo DPS. Obviously, we have Zhao, but he's not like a top tier Anemo DPS, right? All of these elements have a top tier DPS, in my opinion, right? Except for maybe like Hydro. Hydro doesn't really have a top tier DPS. It kind of does have a lot of top tier support, so that's kind of its differential. But Anemo, for me, you have a lot of standout characters. You got Venti, you got Kazuha, you got Xiao, you got Sucrose. Those are a lot of good characters, right? So definitely contender for S+ here. If I was supposed to rank these, I think I moved Cryo a little down. I think Cryo is good. It's obviously a good element, but I think it's just like it's a lot top heavy, right? We have Ganyu, we got Aika, right? We got Rosaria, and then we look at the bottom. We have some of the worst characters in Cryo. We got Aloy, we got Changyun. Kai's like mid, in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of Cryo characters that are just like some of the worst characters of the game, including Aloy. Changyun, I don't think he's like as bad as Aloy, but he's definitely down there. So right now, I definitely put Cryo down here, A tier, just because like there's not that many good Cryo characters, but like the good Cryo characters we do have are top tier. I think just like there's some characters on the bottom that kind of just bring it down. So I'm just gonna put this in A tier. Obviously, great element. I love the Cryo element, but, you know, there are certain characters in that tier that are not that good, including, like, someone like Chi-Chi. Anemo, definitely contender for S+. Electro. Now, you guys know my thoughts on Electro. It might be the worst element in the game, but I don't think it's that bad, right? I think we don't need this tier. We don't need C tier. I think these 4 tiers are good enough by itself. All right, so now that we get removed C tier, I think this is a little bit better. I think Electro goes B tier. Now, do I think it deserves to be in B tier? Does it? Yes, I think it is the worst element in the game. I think, in my opinion, it got a little bit buffed because Dendro's out. In case you guys don't know, Dendro and Electro are the best pairing when it comes to damage for Dendro. Obviously, we don't really have a character who's dedicated Dendro support to help out Electro DPS, so we don't know how good it makes Electro yet, but Electro supports such as Fischl, such as Lisa, help out Dendro DPS like Tigneri a lot, right? Tigneri makes his damages insane when you pair him with a Fischl or like a Lisa, but I really recommend using a Fischl with Tigneri. So Dendro is just kind of, it's an element where it's like, we have some really good characters like Fischl and Raiden, but it's like we just have so many bad characters, right? It's mainly because like I think Genshin just really has a hard time making really good Electro characters. Like we look at the characters for Electro, Lisa mid. The samurai, I forgot her name. Mid, right? What's another one? The bird girl, I forgot her name. Kujo Sara, right? Mid, right? Another character who was just supposed to be good and only gets good with Constellation, so I'm not really counting her. So I think Electro is a contender for one of the worst elements in the game. I don't think it's that far off from being not the worst element in the game because all of the elements are really close, in my opinion. You can make an argument for Cryo being up here, but at the same time, I think there's just too many Cryo characters to put it in the Anemo and Pyro tier. Right, next up, we're going to leave Dendro for last because we all know Dendro is going to be the hottest topic in the game right now. First off, Hydro. Hydro is the poster boy for the best supports in the game. Think of all the best supports in the game. Hydro, Xingqiu, Aito, Kokomi, Barbara, Mona, Child. Right? Those are like some of those characters, all top 20. There's a lot of top 20 Hydro characters in the game. So I think Hydro is definitely up there. Definitely contender for S+. I don't know, quite too sure in where an S+ it'd be, but definitely up there. Next up, Geo. I think Geo and Cryo are kind of at the same thing. I don't want to put Geo down here because I just wanted to like have only one element in tier B because like I think I should only put one element at the bottom to like signify this is the worst element in my opinion, and I think Electro is definitely the worst element in my opinion. But you can also make a case that Geo is the worst element just because like there is no supports for it. You know what? I think Geo is the worst element in the game. I'm switching up my opinion. Electro is above Geo, and Geo is the worst element in the game. I think now that we have Dendro to help out Electro, I think Electro is a lot more useful because Dendro and Electro are kind of like the best synergy in the game. So I'm bumping up Electro mainly because Dendro's out, and Dendro and Electro work really good together. I forgot what it's exactly called. I think it's called Aggravate. That's a reaction. It's called Aggravate. Such a good reaction in the game. Probably could be one of the best reactions in the game once people start using Dendro characters a lot more as DPSs, or maybe there might be a Dendro support that really utilizes Electro and Dendro synergy. But right now, Electro support for a Dendro character is amazing, right? And now I'm gonna put where I believe Dendro should be. Now, will this be controversial? Yes, it will be controversial. Will it get people mad? Yes, it will get people mad. Will Dendro be a top tier element? Who knows until I place this. First, let's talk about the strengths. Dendro is one of the few unique elements like Anemo and Geo where it's kind of like very separate from all of these other elements. Like Pyro, Cryo, Electro, and Hydro, they're kind of all very synergized with each other. Like those 4 elements, I think they have a lot of synergy with each other, right? Like pretty much like Overload, Vaporize, and what's it called? Melt. Kind of like the best 3 element reactions in that, and you can like mix and match and all that stuff, right? These 4 has the best synergy, and Anemo, Geo, and Dendro are kind of like 3 like outliers, right? Anemo has like amazing synergy once you add it as a support. Someone like Kazuo kind of just brings it all together with Swirl, and because they have one of the best elemental sets in the game, definitely deserving of a top tier spot. Geo, kind of on the lower end of it, because like you look at Geo and it's kind of like just there by itself, right? You look at Geo and it's kind of just there by itself. What I mean by it's there by itself is that it doesn't really have any synergy with any of these other elements, right? Obviously, you can get the shields and stuff like that, but like not that much synergy, right? I think the best person with the synergy in the Geo class is probably like someone like an Albedo or Zhongli, but that's because Albedo constantly gives you Geo and gives you extra shields from just elemental reactions, and Zhongli his amazing shields and his constant Geo damage with his pillars, right? And he can like petrify people with, you know, his giant rock meter, right? Those are like kind of the two best supports. But someone like Arataki Ito, right? He's kind of just like, all right, you give him Goro and Bennett, and those are like his best supports, right? Someone like Noel, it's like, all right, we give him Goro and Bennett, and that's kind of his support. All right, and then you look at Goro, only works for Geo characters. Who are some other Geo characters? Am I missing anyone? I don't want to mention the Geo Traveler, but you know, Geo is very much by itself, like, right? It doesn't have any synergy with this. I think Dendro is more like Anemo. Dendro kind of has synergy with all of these other elements except for like Geo and Anemo. They kind of don't really work together. Anemo kind of does, because you know Dendro kind of leaves these little bombs on the field that explode and do damage if you combine it with Hydro. But I don't think it's that good of an elemental reaction with Dendro and Hydro. So I think those two don't have that good of elemental reaction. Dendro and Pyro, I thought it was going to be the best elemental reaction when it came to Dendro in the game. Turns out that was not the case, because it kind of just like increases damage, but not as much damage as something like Vaporize, right? I think that obviously the best elemental reaction is Electro and Dendro to create Aggravate, and I think it's the best elemental reaction for Dendro in the game. And I think might be controversial to say this, but one of the best reactions in the game of Genshin Impact. I think it's top tier elemental reactions solely because of how much damage you get off of doing it for Dendro characters. Obviously, my only proof to why Aggravate's like one of the best elemental reactions in the game is by Tigneri, because his damage with Fischl applying Electro, his Dendro damage is insane numbers. If you watch any Dendro gameplay with Tigneri and seeing him paired up with Fischl, insane damage, obviously insane. I need to first test him out in Spylorbis to see how well he does against like the Maga Kenki, and see like obviously like his type of team setup and his quick swap teams. But right now his damage is looking great. I think the team comps will come later once we get better Dendro supports, more characters that work better with him and stuff like that. But overall, I'm putting Dendro up here. I think it is an S tier among with best of these four. Right, I think if I was supposed to put the four best elements, I think these are the four best elements. You can argue Cryo should be up here, but I think Cryo just has too many low tiers, in my opinion, that it kind of just brings the element down. And it's like, we have some of the best DPSs, but there's some pretty bad supports in there with Chi-Chi and Chang'e and Alloy. But if I'm supposed to pick who out of this four should be the best element in the game, it's between, for me, Hydro and Anemo. I don't think Dendro's there yet. We don't have enough characters to have further proof that Dendro is one of, or the best element in the game. So, if I was supposed to put it here somewhere, I choose, to me it's between Anemo and Hydro. If I was supposed to put it, probably, I'm looking at it, and because to me, I value supports more, that's why I wouldn't put like an Anemo or Dendro. And Anemo and Hydro have the best supports in the game, but I'm gonna put Anemo. I think Anemo is the best element in the game, in my opinion. Obviously, you guys can have a different opinion from me. Maybe you value DPS more, and you think Pyro should be the best element, because you know we have Hu Tao, we have Zhongli, well not Zhongli, Delug, what's it called? Who are also Pyro DPS is Bennett. He's not a Pyro DPS, but one of the best supports in the game. We got Shang Lang, one of the best burst DPS in the game. Pyro definitely has some of the best DPS in the game. Hydro obviously has some of the best supports in the game. But I think just having the Viridescent set for Anemo just kind of like helps it out so much, because the worst Anemo character is someone like a Sayu or someone like an Anemo Traveler. They're just put a level above everyone else just because they have one of the best artifact sets in the game. So that's how I kind of feel about Anemo. Now, obviously, I might get a lot of backlash for how high I have Dendro because people are going to be like, alright, Cryo already has Ayaka. Is Tigneri as good as Ayaka? I don't know. I don't know how good Tigneri is yet. I haven't really seen his full potential. But just what I've seen alone, his elemental reactions, all that, and the damage I am doing with him with only like a level 6 talents and using a blue Dendro cup. Like, that's insane. Like, he's doing amazing damage. I'm just like destroying stuff with him. So I'm loving him. He's a fun character. I think Dendro really has the potential to be one of the best elements in the game. And I think this might be a prediction. This might be more of like a prediction than what it is right now. Because I think right now it's more kind of like down here. But that's because we don't really have any supports for Dendro. But right now, if I was supposed to say where Dendro ranks among the best elements, I'm putting in S tier. I can see the potential. I see how good it can be. It just needs more supports, right? I think back then when we had Anemo, people were like, Anemo's not that good, right? We have Venti, he's really good, but he's kind of like the only good Anemo character we have. I think that is how it is for right now for Dendro. We have Tigneri, he's a really good DPS, a really good Dendro DPS, and he's amazing, but people are like, can he be that good? Can this element be that good going further on? I think yes. I think it'll be more like an Anemo, where it's like, we might not see the full potential in the beginning, but we will see it when we get more supports, when we get more DPSs, and we get more like characters who kind of like work better with Dendro. Now, obviously, this is my opinion, right? I know I might get some hate comments. I always get hate comments for tier list videos, but I want to know what's your guys' opinion. What do you guys think is the best element in the game? Do you think I'm overhyping Dendro? Do you think I'm underrating Geo? Do you think Cryo should be higher? I know I'm going to get a lot of arguments about Cryo, right? And maybe I can see the argument Pyro is kind of outdated and, you know, Cryo should be up there because, you know, we got Ganyu and Aika. But to me, I just think there's just not that many good characters right now in the game for Cryo that's just like, But obviously you can say the same thing about Dendro, that Dendro doesn't have enough good characters in the game to quite have it that high, but I see the potential for Dendro, and I think Dendro deserves to be an S tier, and, you know, that is just my opinion after all. So let me know your guys' opinion down below in the comments, and let me know what you guys think of the Dendro element, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys next time. Peace out. See you guys.